The next topic is routing information protocol. Among the three protocols which we are discussing, we are going to discuss the first routing protocol is RIP, that is routing information protocol. It is one of the most widely used intra-domain routing protocol. Intra-domain means within the autonomous system, within the AS, and it mainly based upon the distance vector routing algorithm which we discussed. Now let us see what is the hop count. A router in this protocol basically implements the distance vector routing protocol algorithm with a little bit modification. Since a router in autonomous systems needs to know how to forward the packets to the different networks within the autonomous system, the RIP router advertise the cost of reaching different networks instead of reaching different nodes. In the distance vector routing, we mainly worried about the cost between the nodes, but in RIP we are mainly worried the cost between different networks. In other words, the cost is defined between router and the network in which the destination is located. It means a source is located in one network, the destination is located in another network. So what is the cost to reach between the two networks? That is the important thing here. The second point which we have to understand is to make this implementation cost simpler. It means independent of the performance factors like routers, links, delay, bandwidth, and etc. The cost is defined as the number of hops, which means the number of networks a packet has to travel to reach a router to the final destination. You can see here there are four networks connected: N1, N2, N3, and N4. These are connected by the three routers R1, R2, and R3. Now, for example, if R1, if the source is in N1 and if the destination is in N4, then it has to cross three hops. First hop from here to here, second hop, and third hop. So there are three hops. It means the datagram has to travel to three networks, N2, N3, and then finally it will reach the N4. If the source is in N2, then it has to travel through only two hops, N3 and N4. If it is already in the N4, then it has to travel only one network, that is N4. So depending upon this, we can form the forwarding table. So let us see the forwarding table of R1, R2, and R3. So forwarding table of R1, it means the forwarding table of the first router. So from the first router to reach either N1 or N2, the cost is only 1. So there is no next router because R1 is directly connected to N1 and N2, and the cost will be 1. Now to reach from R1 to means to reach from network 1 to network 3, there will be two hops. So to reach from R1 to N3, to reach from R1 to N3, it has to pass through R2. So the next router is R2 and hop is 2. So from R1 to N4, it has to cross through two hops, R2 and R3, and hop is number of hops will be 3. So the next router is R2. See, to reach from R1 to N4, the next router is R2, obviously, means it has to come here to R2. So next router will be R2 only, and number of hops will be 1, 2, and 3. Like these, the forwarding table of R2 will be formed and forwarding table for R3 will be formed. So once the forwarding table is formed, then the RIP implementation will take place. The RIP means the route information protocol, obviously, is implemented as the process of UDP. It means it uses the services of UDP with a well-known port of number 520. Now in this, the routers will advertise themselves, and they mainly depend upon what is the number of hops to reach from one network to another network. As I said, it uses the services of UDP. It means actually RIP is the application layer process which uses the UDP, which in turn again encapsulated in IP datagram. As we know that when the information moves from upper layer to the lower layer, it will be encapsulated into different formats. So even though RIP is an application layer process, but because it uses the UDP, first the information given by the application layer will be encapsulated in the UDP, and next when it reaches the network layer, then again it will be encapsulated in the IP datagram. It means, in other words, we can say that RIP runs in the application layer, but it creates the forwarding table in the IP network for later use. Now RIP messages. So two RIP processes, a client and a server, like any other process, needs to exchange the messages. So the message format is as shown in the figure, which does have COM, VER, reserved, family, tag, and etc. COM means command. If it is a request, the value will be 1. Response, the value will be 2. The version will be 2 currently which you are using. Family, whether you are using the TCP IP, if it is using, then it is value 2. Now tag, which have the information about the autonomous system. The network address, which is the destination address. Subnet mask, which is the prefix length. Next hop address is the address length, and distance, it is the number of hops to reach the destination. A request message is sent by the router that has just come up, and by a router that has some timeout entries. A request message can ask about specific entries or all the entries depending upon the need. A response message can be either solicited or unsolicited. A solicited response message is sent only in answer to a request message, that is called solicited. It contains the information about the destination specified in the corresponding request message. An unsolicited response, on the other hand, is periodically after every 30 seconds it has to go when there is a change in the forwarding table. So there are two kinds of messages, solicited and unsolicited. Now RIP algorithm, it uses the, as we said, that it uses the distance vector algorithm with certain changes. Instead of sending only the distance vector, a router needs to send the whole content of its forwarding table in response message. A receiver adds one hop to each cost and changes the next router field to the address of the sending router. We call each router in the modified forwarding table the received route, and each route in the old forwarding table the old route. The received router selects old routes as the new routes except in the following three cases. It means old route will be selected as the new route if these three things will not happen. What are those three things? Number one, if the received route does not exist in the old forwarding table, it should be added to the route. So old route, if it is not there in the forwarding table, then it has to be added. If the cost of the received route is less than the cost of the old one, then the received route should be selected as the new route, because the cost is less, the new one. Now if the cost of the received route is higher than the cost of the old one, but the value of the next router is the same for both the routes, the received route should be selected as the new one, even though if the cost is high but the router is same. This is a case where the route was actually advertised by the same router in the past, but now the situation has been changed. For example, suppose a neighbor has previously advertised a route to the destination with the cost 3, but now there is no path between the neighbor and that destination, so that time it has to be updated. The neighbor advertises this destination with the cost value of infinity, which is 16 in RIP. The receiving router must not ignore this value even though its old value has lower cost to the same. As we have seen in the distance vector, whenever the value is infinity, we normally used to ignore it, but in RIP, if the value is infinity, it will not be ignored. Now the another next point is the new forwarding table needs to be sorted according to the destination route, mostly using the longest prefix first. Now this is one of the examples. We can see how it happens. Now forwarding tables, after all the routers are booted up, now R1, R2, R3 and R4, there are 4 routers in the diagram. Now you can see R1 is directly connected to N1, N2 and N3, so there is no next route and all the cost is 1. R2 is connected to N5, N3 and N4, so all the cost is 1. Then R3 is connected to N6 and N4, all the cost is 1. Then R4 is connected to N5 and N6, the cost is 1. Now how the things will get updated, let us see. So R2 seen by R1. So when the R2 shares its table, then you know that R2 can reach N3 and N4 and N5. So if R1 wants to reach N3, N4 and N5, it can pass through R2. So that information will be shared by the R2 to R1. So new R1 will be, R1 is directly connected to N1, so cost is 1. R1 is directly connected to N2, so cost will remain 1, and R1 is directly connected to N3, so cost will remain 1. So if R1 wants to reach N4, then it has to pass through R2. So you can see here, from R1 to reach N4, the next router is R2, the hop is 2. And to reach N5, then also it has to pass through R2, and the cost will be again 2. Like this, the values will keep updating every time whenever the information is exchanged, and depending upon those information exchange, the final routing table will be formed for R1, R2 and R3 and R4. It means each router now knows to reach each network and what is the next router to go for whenever it wants to reach a different network, and what is the cost to reach the different network. So that is how the RIP implementation is done.